What is up, guys? PieMuffin here, and we are back with another Tales of the Rays video. So, as per usual, the morning following the release of the monthly PV, we have a producer's letter to go over, which will, of course, go over everything we saw in the PV as well as what's to come. Obviously, there's a lot we, of course, want to know because this is the final chapter we're getting this month. This is the end of Ix and Melina's story. So, of course, and, you know, I get tons of people who are like, oh, so the game is going to shut down, you know, the story's over. No. They have reassured us time and time again, pretty much at least for, like, the last year, that even when Last Cradle ends, like, that's not going to be the end of the game. There's still going to be new content and stuff that's going to come out. They're still going to support the game. It's not the end, and they do have something new that they're going to be sharing with us at a later date about what we're going to be expecting. Excuse me. So let's just go over everything. So, introduction delivered on 9:30. They're talking about the last update that happened to the game. You know, the unison attack matching stuff that they talked about. Oh yeah, and then they're talking about the option settings were not saved at the time of the update. So what that means is, you'll notice if you're someone who downloads all, like you download all the data so you never have to have like the loading bar whenever you open something new, like a new event or a character, you know, you've just unlocked, or on a banner, it's not going to load every time you pull something new that you currently didn't have in your account. If you download all, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But pretty much once per year, they do kind of this like reset, or it's like one of their settings does a reset, so you have to download all that data all over again. So that's what's pretty much they're talking about there. There's no Q&A this time. They're going to do that at a later time. No requests, Q&A, and any of that stuff this time, so that's fine. Okay, future updates. October. Exclusive production for the final chapter. Battle gimmick for the final battle. So, when we fight Demetrius and Glasdane, or even just maybe Demetrius, there is going to be a gimmick for that fight, apparently. It's not just going to be a simple, okay, you can go in there with auto battle, and you'll be able to beat him. It's probably going to be more like a raid boss than anything else. Which is pretty cool. I like that. You know, we've been building up this kind of big fight for, you know, 5 years of a story. I don't want it to be a just quick fight that we end here and there. Timing undecided, new developments and new content. Next live broadcast currently being adjusted around November. I will tell you in a little more detail. So there is going to be something new that's going to follow the end of the main story. Whether that's an entire new story, or like short stories or whatever kind of content there is, there's going to be content that's going to replace the main story ending. And of course, they're going to show that off, of course, after the main story is already over. Because we know the main story is going to end this month, technically. But we know we're going to have several months of kind of like an epilogue story to kind of follow that. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out. They're still working on the Spirit Gear repair. I don't know what they're trying to change. They've been talking about Spirit Gear repair for like the last year, and I'm not really sure what they mean to do about that. Realistically, the only thing I can think of is that it's so hard. Like, if you're a new player, you have all those Spirit Gears in the permanent tab, you're never going to catch up. So, I feel like they need to make it easier for... They don't need to make the newer ones easier to farm up for. I'm fine with how they are in the events. You know, people have to spend a few diamonds if they really want to farm up people to level 3 or higher. But for the permanent ones, like, I wish the permanent ones had, like, a 3 or 4 times multiplier to how much drops. Because I'm still going down. I started from the top, you know, with the ones I didn't have. I'm still only at the 3 Kononos. Like, that's what I'm farming right now, so I still have 5 or 6 groups after that. And each group, you know, assuming I didn't farm a character, you know, at least to, like, level 3 or higher, you know, it takes me 3 or 4 months to do, like, one group of characters. So they need to fix that where just the permanent ones, I'm fine with how the rotating ones are, and I'm fine with how the events actually handle it. But the permanent ones that are never going to go away, like, I wish they would just increase the amount we get, because most days I'm getting 1 or 2 shards per character. You know, I'll get very bad luck. I won't get, you know, sometimes you get lucky, you get 4 to 6 or sometimes higher. But for the most part, I'm getting 1 or 2 shards a day. So that means I'm only getting 30 shards at bare minimum, I'm getting 30 shards a week or a month, and from level 5 to from level 4 to level 5, you need 600 shards. So that's really the only thing I think they need to change, is just make the permanent ones drop more. Because they're the permanent ones. They got released forever ago. Usually by the time a permanent one gets added, it was like half a year ago when it first came out, or more. So I think it's fine if those have like a little higher drop rate. Due to schedule adjustments accompanying new developments and new content, I'll remove it from the schedule. Okay, so I guess they're not going to talk too much about, that kind of stuff yet. Addition of functions related to the final chapter. It's finally the final chapter. I'll tell you more about it later. As described in the update content, some functions and effects exclusive to the final chapter will appear. There is a final boss battle, there is a finale, and a scenario that has been continued for more than 5 years. Since it's the finale, developers are also excited. I can't tell you about the details, but like a home title, there are gimmicks and productions dedicated to the final boss. I hope you can... Okay, so they're pretty much saying, like any normal Tales game, the final boss isn't just someone you just beat down. There's always something specific you need to do with them. I guess you could say some of them, I feel like Duke doesn't really have a gimmick. He's just really hard. But yeah, so that's pretty much what they're saying, is it's not just going to be it's not going to be like a normal boss at the end of a Raise chapter. Fighting Demetrius or whatever we end up having to deal with is going to have some kind of gimmick to it. All right, so here is our release schedule for October. As expected, the 6 crossover Mirage Arts are going to be split between 2 banners. The first banner is going to be the Kisara and Guy one, the Law and Chloe one, and then the Angie and Rowan one. So that banner is going to be first, and then the second banner will be Sheena and Suzu, Senel and Walter, and then Emil and Richter, which is pretty cool. I like how they're keeping the Arise characters kind of together, so you can, if you want to focus on Arise, you have that right there. If I were to summon, this would be the banner I'd summon on. These are my 3 favorite pairs of the 6, so it's kind of nice that the 3 I would want to pull for are on one banner. Although it is pretty nutty that both Law and Kisara literally within the last 2 months just got new Mirage Arts, so whatever. And then of course there is going to be several co-op weekends. You can see right here, there's going to be a co-op on the 21st and a co-op on the 28th. Then we have the End of Last Cradle banner, which is of course going to have the ending Mirage Arts for Melina, Ix, and Kokis. Just thinking about it, okay, so if they include the 5th anniversary Mirage Arts, that means, Kokis is going to have probably 4 Mirage Arts on the banner. Ix is probably going to have 5 or 6 on the banner. They'll probably include the Overray, so we'll have the Kokis Arc 2 Mirage Art as well. So Ix will have 6 Mirage Arts on the banner, and then Melina is also going to have 6. So it's going to be 6, 12. We're going to have 15 or 16 Mirage Arts probably on the banner. And then I think that there are going to be 10 free multis during this festival stuff. But of course, it's not going to be for these banners. It's going to be for the old stuff. So that's what this is probably going to have to deal with. So pretty cool. You'll just have a normal banner where you can get free multis on. Okay, they're talking about the Mirage Arts. They wanted to deliver all these at once. A bunch of pairs that, did not win votings and stuff like that. They wanted to make sure that they just released them, which I think this is fine. It's not always going to be super easy to just make events that are relevant around, specific duos and stuff. So I think it's fine that they're doing this. The crossover scenario is divided into the first part and second part. All 20 episodes. Okay, so there's going to be 20 story parts split between 2 parts. Okay, so they're basically, the 100 polls as usual. It's the same as last time. Okay. Part 4, Chapter 21, Final Chapter. Ix, Melina, and Kokis, Final Magic Mirror, scheduled for late October. Finally, the final chapter, the story of Ix and Melina that lasted 5.5 years, is now complete. I have been allowed to do it several times, such as the final chapter of Part 1, The final chapter will be delivered in event format. Okay, so the final chapter will be delivered in event format. So that means there's probably going to be like a shop and stuff like that. Probably tickets we can get. It's going to be similar, I think, to the final chapter of the second arc when we got Flynn, where we had like a raid boss. So I think it's going to be something similar to that. So we'll have to see how. So that kind of explains what I was thinking. I was wondering, there's no event at the end, which sucks because it makes it sound like they're skipping Halloween this year. I really do think we're not going to get a Halloween banner at all. Because they would have had something in October, regardless of the final chapter. It's not going to make sense to release a Halloween-themed banner, the second week of November. So, realistically, we're probably just not getting Halloween this year, which does kind of suck, but oh well. I was really hoping they would, do Vicious and Aegis for Halloween. I thought that would have been perfect, but oh well. The longer we wait, the longer it makes me worried that, we're only going to get 2 Crestoria characters per year, and I really hope that's not the case. I hope it doesn't come to be July and we're finally getting Vicious and Aegis, but we'll see what happens. What else? Okay, so aspect of all-out battle of characters in Tir na Nog. Please complete the story of Ix and Melina. I would like anyone who plays Reyes to see it. So it's going to be a pretty big finale. I hope they have. I'm not expecting tons of it, but I really hope there's some animated scenes in the finale. Like, I hope it's not just, text boxes and then the story ends. Even if it's fully voiced, I still hope we get at least one kind of finale animated scene. I think that'd be really good. The event itself can be played even if you have not progressed to the end of the main story, of course, because there's going to be rewards. If possible, I think you can enjoy more after proceeding to the end. In addition to what is currently being held, we plan to support the progress of the main story and the campaign. They're basically saying, there's going to be, continue to be like AP cuts for the story so people can catch up if they want to. As I've told you many times, the story is finally complete. However, the service of the Rays will continue. So they once again reassuring players, just because the story is ending does not mean the game is going anywhere. Like, there's still going to be more stories and more stuff to happen. It's not going to be like Tales of Link, where they finish the story and then they're like, all right, let's pull the plug. The hero and heroine of this title are Ix and Melina, saying that will never change. So they're basically saying... Okay, well, let me read this first. I'll let you know at a later date, but it's also related to the story of the new development. So there is going to be a new story. In the history of Tales, the main title equals main characters remains unchanged. There was the idea of creating a new protagonist and story after the game was completed, but if you do that, then it won't be the Rays. Realistically, that's true. If you were to just take... I guess you can't really say that, because, you've got sequels like Symphonia Dawn of the New World, you've got Tales of Destiny 2, you've got Xillia 2, there are new protagonists, but I get what they're saying. It's the same title. You can't just take the same title and slap new protagonists on there. I don't think new protagonists would also sell very well. I think the Rays, is pretty... iconic with Ix, Melina, Cascaria. Those are the characters that kind of lead this game. If they just created someone new and slapped them in the protagonist role, I don't know if that would really help the game too much. Based on that, let me touch on development after completion of the main story. So what they're basically saying is they're going to complete the main story, and then next month during the live stream that they're going to do, they're going to start to talk about what's coming next. New content to be newly implemented, distribution type permanent content that replaces the main story. They're basically saying, whatever is going to... I basically just said it. What's going to replace the main story in terms of content, because without the main story, that's less, currency you're getting, less gameplay you're having to do. And of course, they don't want people playing the game less, they want people playing the game more. So of course, they're going to have something that's going to replace it. Realistically, I think it's probably going to be a new story. Even if it's not with new protagonists, they could do like some side stories. We could get like a story chapter that just follows Lloyd doing something, or Vague doing something, or just any of the characters, what they're up to in this world. But we'll have to see. Which would essentially just make them events, but you never know. Yeah, it's going to be different from Tower of Eternity and Best Heroes. The stuff you can do at your own pace. There's not going to be a time lock on it. during the period until new content implementation, deliver the epilogue of the main story several times. So there's going to be several months. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get 2 or 3. So we're going to get probably 2 months of an epilogue, maybe 3. And then I think the month of the anniversary will be when the new thing implements. So the end of February, I could see when this, whatever the new thing is going to be, so that with the 6th anniversary, announce the new, well, they'll announce it beforehand, but release the new thing. And then, before that, we just have a couple chapters of an epilogue. The event will be delivered at the same pace as before because it's different from okay. Especially regarding new content and epilogues, we'd like to inform you of the details through a live broadcast, so please give us a little more time before we can announce it. Thank you for supporting Tales of Race. So yeah, so we're gonna, whatever, they're aiming for a stream to be next month in November, so I think that's probably our best chance to see what's actually going to be coming next for the game. But I'm excited, the game is not going anywhere. There's still tons of content they want to put in. I do still think it's maybe like in the final epilogue thing, like it won't be a story related thing, but I really doubt that they're not going to make Demetrius and Glastain playable. I'm sure they're going to be playable at some point. Like I said, there probably won't be a story reason for it, but unless we just don't kill them, unless they just don't die, like, oh, they saw the error of their way. Glastain needs to die. Demetrius, maybe we can talk him around, but Glastain, no, he just needs to die. But yeah, I don't see them not being playable at some point. I think they're definitely going to be playable at some point. But on that's pretty much it. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you are excited for these new developments. It's a somber feeling, that the story is coming to an end, which of course we are definitely streaming the final chapter and the epilogues whenever they drop. But it is kind of a sad feeling that, the story is coming to an end, but I'm also excited to see what's on the horizon. I do feel like the Mirage arts they showed and the lines we heard for Ix, Mileena, and Coccus kind of spoiled the ending. It almost seems like all of them get a happy ending. Like, I was honestly expecting, like, Ix or Coccus to die. But if Coccus just returns in the end, in the PV, he's like, I'm home, master. Then maybe we don't lose anybody. Karia makes it back to Mileena, but we'll have to see what happens with that. So that's going to be it, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.